All right, traders, back again with my man Iceman, one of the best traders I know. Today we're going to be talking about what we've learned being traders in general, professional traders, part-time traders, losing money, making money, all the good stuff. You have now close to 5 years experience.
Yep.
You've gone through doing this, I'd say like semi-full time, because obviously he's a professional hockey player, and now managing a wife, kids, newborns, and a career as well, which I think a lot of you guys will relate with, because obviously most of you guys are going to just quit your jobs and do this full time. What would you say are some of the things you've learned over the years about being a trader?
Well, I think that sometimes you forget, you get so locked into your profession or what you do that you forget what it takes to get there, right? So for me, it was hockey. I'm sure there's doctors and everyone from up and down the profession list. For me, trading gave me a new look into what it takes to be good at something, because trading is not easy. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work, and the work is I've never seen something, or it's hard to find something that if you do work, you can get paid so handsomely for being good at it, right? So for me, I spent my whole life playing hockey. I started skating when I was 3. I'm 30, just turned 33 now, so I've been playing for 30 years. And there's times when I wasn't good, and it takes a lot of work, but you forget about that when it comes so easily now to me. Skating to me is like walking, and you become a point in trading too where it's the same. But at first, you got to remember what it takes to get good at something. And for me, I had forgotten that, because hockey wasn't that hard for me anymore.
At any point were you able to realize, like, oh, when I was playing hockey back in the day, did it ever relate or no?
Yeah, it did, because I remember setbacks. When you make it to a certain point in any profession, you're going to have very tough times. And I would always say, man, like, hockey's been great for me, and I'm sure we got some rain coming, but we can keep going. I'm sure if I keep working at it, just like in hockey worked out for me, and it's been great. I'm sure trading will be the same. Even though this is difficult, I'm going to stick to it, because I knew that the light was there at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. So I always thought about that, and that trading kind of gave that back to me, of what it takes to be good at something. And you will work hard at trading if you want to be successful. A lot of hours.
What have you over the years have had to sacrifice? I know we were talking before how you have to work just as hard as everybody on the hockey field, but then they go home or they go out for beers, and then you're trading.
Yeah, well, it is sacrifice. And anything for me, it was sacrifice, because in order to be a good hockey player at the top of your profession, you got to work your ass off to do that. And trading was no different. So you had to put in the time. And luckily, when I started trading, I had a little bit of time, and I didn't have to pull all-nighters. Now, you can certainly still be good at trading if you started with young kids right now, or you're in a profession where you're working long hours. But it can be done. And going from the rink, you just have to sacrifice some things. For me, it was maybe some time with the guys, but to me, it's worth it to have something to set you up for your future, like trading can. If you become a good trader and you really put in the time, the possibilities are endless with not only the money but the freedom. You can do whatever you want. I can trade an hour a day and travel around the world, or spend time with my kids, so that when I'm done playing hockey, this is why I started trading, so when I'm done playing hockey, I can continue to live the same lifestyle where, I'm home with my kids every day at noon. And I'm sure a lot of people, if you don't have kids, that's okay. A lot of you guys want to travel the world by yourself, or with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or whoever you are. Like, there's many things that trading can provide.
Was there anything, because I think one of the reasons why you were so successful is because you already had the discipline and the work ethic for hockey, and then you just translated that over. Was there anything at any point in time that trading taught you that translated back to your normal life for hockey?
Yeah, because
that's really interesting.
Yeah, because you feel, you and I had this conversation off the air about either getting better at something or getting worse. And I felt like at a point in my trading, I wasn't trading as much. And then I realized, it made me realize something, that when I was trading again, I was like, man, I'm not doing very well. And it was because I hadn't been putting in the time that I was before. And it translated over into hockey. Actually, just this past year, I was struggling a bit on the ice. And I said, man, I can't think of the last time I put in an extra 30 minutes after everybody went home shooting pucks. And it is that extra time that makes you successful. And my experiences in trading, it actually brought me back to that in hockey. It's like, I put back in the time in trading, and I became a better trader. Now I got to do the same with hockey, like I used to be. Put in the extra time, and that's all work ethic. That doesn't necessarily just trading, but trading is no different.
It's funny because I still remember, for those of you guys that know Superman Jim, he, 7 years, maybe 8 years, something along those lines, and he still on the weekend does practice, like simulations, where new people that try to learn how to do this, they don't even do sims on the weekend or at night when they have the extra time.
Yeah, you should, off topic too, you should use the market replay until your Ninja Trader blows up, because it's just, you could just trade a random day 6 months ago at night at 3 times the speed. If you don't have 2 hours, you can trade the first 2 hours in 30 minutes if you do 4x 4 times speed, or whatever you're going to do. If you want to do 3 times speed or 2 times speed, just so you can get the feel of the way the market moves. It's invaluable experience, and you should use it all the time. All the time you should be using, because you're able to simulate days. You don't have to wait for the next day. You don't have, you speed up your time.
Like you guys, it's in commenting on that, I didn't have replay when I was learning how to trade.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the luxury of being able to practice at night and on the weekend and afternoons whenever I didn't have school. I had to do bar by bar.
Yeah.
12, 2, 3 in the morning I wouldn't sleep, and now personally I don't see an excuse why people can't learn how to trade.
Bar by bar is great, but the technology now has afforded, you to be able to do it so much easier. And I've seen there's some good traders that I've seen with they meticulously print out charts, and it's expensive, because the ink and all that stuff, but laminate, put it in the sleeve, have it annotated right on there, and just keep a log. So if you're going on a flight and you're not going to have Wi-Fi, you bring the charts, and you're always looking. You can go, put your hand over one side of the chart and go bar by bar like the old way. I'm sure it was, because there's always ways to get better. There's really no excuses to say, I can't do it for this reason, I can't do it for that reason. There's a way. It's just you got to really want it. You know what I mean? Any
last tips that you'd give everybody? Experienced traders going through a rut, or brand new guys that want to learn how to do this, or
you start by going through the curriculum. I mean, you go through the curriculum and you go to the live classes, and you learn just so much. Go through the live classes was awesome for me. And when I got into some trouble, I'd go back and watch live classes that I had already watched, and and even I would have days where I would struggle, and I'd go back to a day I did well, and I'd trade it all over again. Would you let any time elapse, or would you just do it right away? No, it was usually, I would do this stuff when I was struggling. I'd try to double down on myself and go back and go through more classes. It's a great thing you mentioned that, because everybody acts like once you learn how to do this, you're going to make money all the time. And as I can attest to, you have losing days sometimes, losing weeks, and losing month or two every once in a while as well. Yeah. So that's something that you guys should keep in mind as well, that, this isn't going to be something where you just learn it and then you're going to be a millionaire next week and every day you're going to print money. It is a continuing process, because I think the old adage is something along the lines of that the only thing that stays the same is change, and that more than anything applies to the stock market, because even if the stuff that you were showing me today, it's like from one day to the next, from 1 year to the next, the market's going to be completely different. Your circumstances are going to change at home. So you have to be able to adapt and change what you're doing all the time. Yeah. Yeah, we got some pretty cool things coming through the pipeline too that, I'll help introduce to the traders, and we'll, some things I've learned from all these screen hours I was just talking to you about, all these different tips and tricks that you learn from just looking at charts and figuring out things and toying around with this and that. And that's one of the beauties of DTA is you have all the traders right there at your disposal. You can email anybody and they'll help you out. You know, it's awesome. It's like a fraternity. It's really cool.
Well, in another few years, another 5 years will go by, and he'll still be saying, "Yeah, next year will be my last year hockey. Next year." So we'll see what we find Iceman next time. But I'm glad I was able to come to Norway, do all these videos with you, my man.
Yeah,
it's great to see
you
having
too,
a success, and I'm sure we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, ciao.